warm welcome to WION's special programming on elections in the South Indian state of Karnataka. We are live from the state capital, Bengaluru. I'm Nishtita Virendra and I'm also joined by my colleague Kartikeya Sharma, who is WION's political editor. Today we will tell you why Karnataka is important for India's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party as well as the Congress, which is in power in the state. But before that, let us bring you up to speed with news from Karnataka.
Thank you, Nishtita. Ticket distribution has led to a massive outcry in this state. Many leaders are upset with the choice of the candidates. Some have even threatened to resign and contest for other political parties. The Congress has time till April 27 to douse the fire. The BJP, on the other hand, is still suffering from dissent after it announced its first list of 72 candidates. And the fact of the matter here is that senior leaders like Rahman Khan and other people, they have all protested against the decision of the Congress. Even former spokesperson Brajesh Kallappa did. So it's like a potboiler which is taking place in Karnataka, and everything is bursting from seams as of now.
It is quite evident because I have travelled into Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and other places, and people are fed up. The recent by-elections have shown, even in UP, it has shown, that tsunami, tsunami does not last longer. It comes very quickly and disappears fast. It destroys, of course. When it destroys, people also create. That's the beauty, they create. Likewise, this Modi-Shah tsunami, Modi tsunami, it doesn't last long.
Siddaramaiah government, people have a feeling that government which is irresponsible, you can't ask for the reason to the people. People have felt that this is a government which is not a very responsible, not a very civilized, not a very useful government. It has been creating caste barriers, creating conflicts, creating only emotional things, to the extent that they want to separate from India, to that extent.
So, the bottom line here is, Nishtita, that there are a lot of political problems. People, I went to one of the political offices in Bengaluru, and there was a complete mayhem there. So, coming back to our prime question, why is Karnataka important for the BJP and the Congress? This is the first state where the BJP gained power in South India. Till today, it is the only state in South India where the BJP has tasted power. While battle lines are drawn between the Congress and the BJP, the JDS is also a key player in the state. It has played a marginal role in the state politics over the past 10 years, but a consolidation of vocal community, which is primarily in the southern or the Mysore region, the erstwhile Mysore region. It's a dominant group which is like an OBC, the peasantry, and its vote may help the re-emergence of the party's fortune. Now let's take a look at how parties have done in the recent past.
Well, in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections, BJP polled 43.37% of the votes, whereas Congress polled 41.15% of the votes, whereas the JDS polled about 11.07% of the votes. Now, this was the first time the BJP got more votes than the Congress party and won 17 Lok Sabha seats, whereas the Congress got only 9 seats. Now, this was not the case, however, during the assembly elections in 2008 as well as 2013. The BJP had not got more votes than the Congress even in 2008 when it was voted to power in the state. For example, in 2008, the BJP polled 33.86% of the votes, whereas Congress polled 34.76%, and the JDS got about 18.96% when the government was formed by the BJP. It managed to get single majority. Meanwhile, in 2013, 5 years later, the Congress got about 36.59% of the votes, the BJP got 19.89%, the JDS got 20.19%, and the Congress formed the government. Well, Kartikeya Sharma, coming to you now, if you look at 2013's figures, BJP is down to about 19%. But there is a catch there. It was not just the BJP that polled 19%. It was the BJP that did not have Yediyurappa. It was the BJP that did not have Sri Ramulu. And both BSR, Congress and KJP are back in the fold.
You know, Nishchita, the broader problem here right now is that the BJP's campaign has not gained momentum. Congress has an edge. But then the JDS is turning out to be the real player. You know, JDS and the Vocal Ligas are a different story altogether. But we must not forget that this party is getting 20% vote year after year, election after election. And even during the worst performance where JDS leaders Kumaraswamy and HG Devegowda were politically sidelined, they had their say. And today what has happened? Asaduddin Owaisi says he supports the JDS. He says that he is going to campaign if required for the JDS, which means that politically JDS holds the key. See, Bharatiya Janata Party is banking on the Lingayat vote. There is a 30% vote which voted for Congress from the Vocal Ligas. If they go back to the JDS, Nishchita, it creates a problem. It sets the stage for a fractured assembly in Karnataka, which is not a good news.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Karnataka has usually been fairly decisive, but a fractured mandate could put things in disarray. But apart from that, many issues predominate Karnataka's elections. Now, this time around, regional issues have acquired national resonance. So, which are these issues? Well, in the predominant issues are the Lingayats, of course, being given the separate religion status by the state government. The proposal has already been sent to the centre. Then you have the separate flag issue, again, a highly debated topic that has been cleared by the state government. The issue of cultural identity that is being pushed through language assertion, the 15th Finance Commission, the recommendations for southern states, Karnataka not being given adequate funds by the centre during drought in comparison to BJP governed states like the BJP. So these are the issues that are primarily being considered by the state government. On the issue of identity and separate flag, my colleague Kartikeya Sharma spoke to Karnataka Agriculture Minister Krishna Bairegowda, who spoke at length about how the shortage of these funds have affected the state and how identity politics plays out this time around in the state. Let's take a look.
Many people would say that this election has boiled down to nationalism versus sub-nationalism.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
No, I outright reject. I in fact take serious objection to pundits sitting in Delhi and passing these judgments on states which are culturally, vernacularly, linguistically have their own identities. It gives no right to people in Delhi sitting and passing these judgments, because you have no right to question the nationality or the attachment we have to the Indian Union. Kannadigas, if anything, are more nationalist than anybody else. Just because, along with being Indian, if we want to be Kannadigas as well, and if you can't digest that, then that's a problem with you. Indian Constitution gives equal space for all kinds of identities to exist. India is a union. We are not one entity, we are one nation built out of many identities. But that's all we are saying.
But Mr. Gowda,
let me complete the point. We Kannadigas have enough space in our heart, in our mind, to be Kannadigas, at the same time be Indians as well. I don't know why some people can't see that we can be both at the same time. And we Kannadigas in the past, since the Indian Union was created, have never given any cause for anybody to point fingers at us and question our nationality. Just because we want to be proud of our Kannada language, our Kannada identity, just because of that, if some people can't digest that, it's their problem. We Kannadigas cannot be questioned on this issue, and we outright reject any questioning on this issue.
Well, Kartikeya Sharma, now this time around we're seeing for the first time an emotive issue like Kannada culture, Kannada pride being whipped up by the Congress. Electorally, how do you see this panning out?
I think, what has happened, Nishchita, is that this election is happening on, it has got three dimensions. First is state versus centre, where the Chief Minister and the parties are saying that the centre is unfair. And this is not something which is being done by Siddaramaiah for the first time. Narendra Modi did it for 13 years to odd years, when he would say that, the centre is not letting the government, the water of Narmada come to Gujarat. So, the economic angst and the social angst of the Gujarati society were harnessed, and he kept on winning the elections. So, Siddaramaiah is also representing the Kannadiga pride. Second issue is there's a great backward caste consolidation which is taking place in the state, and that's where Siddaramaiah comes in. But the most important is that the Karnataka itself is a very vivacious, culturally, linguistically, is different, vivacious. It has its own language, it has its own imagery, the poets, its beautiful traditions. And Siddaramaiah is politically using it because he understands that the only antidote to a sort of the cultural nationalism politics which Bharatiya Janata Party has done can only be met by a regional pride. That's where the language comes in, that's where the flag comes in, and that's where the other things comes in. And I think everything is fair in politics.
Now, we have seen, like you said, it's almost like Siddaramaiah has taken a leaf out of Narendra Modi's book itself. He had called it Gujarat Asmita, and here we are calling Namma Kannada Pride. But if you compare Karnataka to states like Tamil Nadu, where you have the strong sentiment of Dravidian pride, of Tamil identity, do you see such similar issues in Karnataka? Because let's not forget, Karnataka shares border with Hyderabad, which is a Hindi-speaking region. It shares border with Maharashtra, which is again a Hindi-speaking region. People are very comfortable speaking Hindi there. So while there might be a section who might identify with this kind of politics, with this kind of whipping up of sentiments, will we electorally see it have an impact?
I would say that it all depends, because see, ultimately you might have Hindi-speaking people in Karnataka, but the bottom line is that flag, or for example, let me put it this way, flag was an issue which was actually pushed by Yedurappa's government. The court struck it down, then it became an issue, and then Siddaramaiah has resolved it in his own favour. So, these are issues which will only unfold themselves in 30 days from now or 20 days from now. Yes, there are challenges before the Congress party. Yes, BJP is far more united than it was in 2013. But let us not forget that the BJP's campaign has not started, and both political parties are facing great, I would say, sort of an explosion, because during ticket distribution you have far more number of disgruntled people than those who have been satisfied, Nishchita.
Absolutely. In fact, coming down to identity, it's not just about the Kannada identity, but also the religious identity of the Lingayats here that comes into play. Another issue where no one has been able to call it as to whether it will electorally benefit Siddaramaiah. But at the end of the day, can we consider it, whatever it benefits, even if it's 5%, 10% increase in the Lingayat vote share for the Congress, it is a win situation, because otherwise Siddaramaiah has been able to consolidate the Ahinda votes.
I think what Siddaramaiah is trying to do is, by getting the Lingayats vote, he is trying to offset what BJP is doing in the Mysore area, which is the Vokalikas. That's the point I'm trying to make. He is trying to offset the gains of Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party knows that anything which H.D. Devegowda does to better his party, it eats into the Congress. So what Siddaramaiah is trying to do is, he's trying to break the vote. He's evening out the losses he might face in southern Karnataka by hitting it what you call the Hyderabad Karnataka or the Bombay Karnataka.
Absolutely. Well, we'll slip into a short break on that note, but stay tuned. We'll continue all our news and updates on the other side.